I still remember the way she smiled that day. Not a warm smile, not a sister's smile. It was the kind that quietly warns you something is about to break. "My dear sister," she said softly, crossing her arms as she looked down at me, "your dog is mine now." For a second, I thought she was joking. I even forced a small laugh, hoping this was just one of her usual dramatic moments. But then I saw it in her eyes: certainty, possession, and just like that, my world shifted. My name is Aisha, and for the last 3 years, my life had revolved around one partner, one friend, one soul who understood me better than any human ever could. His name was Rex. He wasn't just a dog. He was a trained canine partner, disciplined, loyal, intelligent. I trained him myself every single day, through early mornings and long evenings. We worked together, learned together, trusted each other with everything. And maybe that's what made him so valuable, not just emotionally, but professionally too. My sister Zara had always been different. Where I built things slowly, she took shortcuts. Where I stayed grounded, she played smart games. We weren't enemies, at least that's what I used to believe. Until that day. "You can't be serious," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Rex is registered under my name. I trained him." She tilted her head, amused. "But what you didn't know," she said calmly, "is that the contract was transferred last week." My heart dropped. "Transferred? That's not possible." "Oh, it is," she interrupted, pulling out a file. "You should really read what you sign, Aisha." And that's when it hit me. The documents I signed, the ones she told me, were just routine paperwork for our joint project. They weren't routine. They were a trap, and I walked right into it. Rex stood beside me, calm as always, unaware that everything was about to change. Or maybe he knew more than we thought. Because what my sister didn't understand was that Rex wasn't just trained to follow commands. He was trained to recognize truth and loyalty. And that was something no contract could ever take away. But what I didn't know that day was that Rex himself would be the one to turn the tables. I didn't fight her that day. Not because I couldn't, but because I knew Zara. She thrived on reactions, on chaos, on watching people fall apart, and I refused to give her that satisfaction. Instead, I stepped back. Quietly. "Fine," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "If that's what the papers say, then take him." For a moment even she looked surprised. Maybe she expected me to scream, to argue, to beg, but I didn't. Because deep inside, something didn't feel right. Rex looked at me, not confused, not scared, just. I knelt down beside him, placing my hand gently on his head. "Stay calm," I whispered softly. Zara scoffed. "You're really letting go that easily." I stood up, meeting her eyes. "Some things don't belong to people who steal them." She smirked again. "We'll see." And just like that, she took him. That night, my house felt empty, not silent, but hollow. Every corner reminded me of him, his footsteps, his presence, his quiet loyalty. And for the first time in years, I felt alone. But loneliness has a strange way of sharpening your thoughts. I went through everything, the documents, the emails, the timeline, and that's when the truth became clearer. Zara didn't just take Rex, she needed him. There was a high-profile canine demonstration, coming up, one that could open doors, bring recognition, and attract contracts. And Rex was the key. But here's what she didn't understand. Training a canine isn't just about commands, it's about bond, trust, connection, and Rex. A few days later, I heard about the event. Zara was showcasing Rex, confident, proud, certain that she had already won. I could have gone there, created a scene, but I didn't. Instead, I waited, because I knew something she didn't. Rex wasn't just trained to obey anyone, he was trained to respond, to me. To my voice, to my signals, to my presence, and most importantly, to truth. The day of the event came. I stood far from the crowd, hidden, watching. Zara walked confidently into the arena, holding Rex's leash. The audience clapped. Cameras flashed. She raised her chin slightly, like she had already claimed victory. "Let's begin," the host announced. Zara gave her first command. "Sit." Rex stood still. No movement. A small pause. She repeated it, a little firmer this time. "Sit." Still nothing. A ripple of confusion spread through the crowd. Zara's smile faded slightly. "Rex." But Rex didn't respond, because he wasn't confused. He was choosing. And then, something shifted. Rex turned his head, slowly, directly toward where I stood. And in that moment, everything changed. Our eyes met across the distance, and I didn't move. I didn't call him. I didn't signal him. I simply stood there, because I didn't need to command him anymore. Rex already knew. Zara, now visibly tense, tried again. "Rex, heel." But instead of obeying her, Rex took a step back. "Away from her," the crowd murmured. The host looked confused. "This is unusual," he said. Zara's composure began to crack. "Rex, focus," she snapped, her voice no longer calm. But Rex didn't look at her. He kept looking at me. And then, without warning, he broke free. Not aggressively, not wildly, just deliberately. He walked past Zara, ignored her completely, and began moving toward me. The entire arena fell silent. Step by step, he closed the distance until he stood right in front of me and sat perfectly, calmly, loyally, just like he always did. I knelt down, my eyes filling with tears as I placed my hand on his head. "Good boy," I whispered. The crowd erupted, not in confusion anymore, but in understanding. Zara stood frozen in the arena, exposed, not just as someone who failed, but as someone who tried to take what was never hers. The organizers stepped in shortly after. Questions were asked, documents reviewed, and the truth came out. The contract had been manipulated, misrepresented, and legally, it didn't hold. Rex was returned to me. But more than that, Zara lost everything she tried to gain. Her reputation, her credibility, all of it gone in a single moment. And I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to destroy her, because sometimes the truth does that on its own. A few days later, I sat quietly with Rex beside me. The same calm presence, the same unspoken understanding. And I realized something important. People can take things from you, opportunities, trust, even your peace. But they can't take what's truly built on loyalty and truth, because real bonds don't follow ownership. They follow connection. And as I looked at Rex, resting peacefully by my side, I smiled softly, because in the end, I didn't just get my partner back. I got something much more powerful, proof that what's real always finds its way back, no matter who tries to steal it.